All right, y'all, welcome back to Unit 4, Day 17. So reminders, as always, to have your history notebook out and you're taking notes as we go through the video. And make sure that you complete the vocabulary for this video, either highlighting it or creating note cards as we go along. So let's go ahead and get started. So our terms for the day are going to be Jawaharlal Nehru, Indiri Gandhi, Gamal Nasser, Six-Day War, the Yom Kippur War, Pan-Arabism, and Bollywood. Concepts for today are going to be decolonization and politics in South Asia, and we're going to start a little bit of the decolonization and politics in the Middle East, and then day 18 will be more of the Middle East. So let's go ahead and get started for today. So let's get started with Gandhi. Review: Gandhi was a Hindu mystic. He was one of the founders of the Indian National Congress. He's going to lead the Indian independence movement after people turn away from violent approaches by, say, BG Taluk. Again, he's going to use nonviolent civil disobedience during this period. One method that we talked about before was how he did the boycott of cotton textiles, such as like the homespun movement. He's going to do things like the Salt March. But he's really going to ramp up the civil disobedience in the 1930s. During World War II, many Indians were sympathetic with Japan, and Gandhi is still going to pursue a peaceful non-cooperation. After World War II, the British are finally willing to consider a independence and giving India independence. This is especially true because the Labour government was now in charge, which was a bit more sympathetic toward Indians. India will be partitioned. This is where that the Muslims in India wanted independence. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, they wanted to have their own independent country because they were worried about being part of a country with a Hindu majority. So India will be broken up into India and Pakistan. Pakistan will be Muslim, and India will be Hindu. There's going to be massive movements from Indian Muslims moving to Pakistan. 10 million refugees will move either out of Pakistan and into India or into Pakistan from India. 1 million in both ways will die on this migration. Some of the Hindu extremists thought that Gandhi was being far too tolerant of Muslims in India. So Gandhi himself will be assassinated in January 1948 by Hindu extremists. There will be conflict between India and Pakistan over one of the border regions called the Kashmir. They both claim Pakistan will lose officially, and there's still hatred and tension between Pakistan and India ever since. So let's talk about South Asia in 1945. The first Indian Prime Minister is going to be Jawaharlal Nehru. He was Gandhi's friend. He's going to be the first Prime Minister of India. His foreign policy is going to be the Third Path non-alignment movement. He didn't want to get involved in the Cold War. He and some of the other nations from Africa and Asia will meet at the Bandung Conference, where they will come up with a policy of neutrality during the Cold War. This will anger, or not anger, will make, America will not be happy about this. India is going to become a stable democracy during this time. They are a federal parliamentary democracy similar to Canada and Australia. In Pakistan, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he will become president of the All India or the All Muslim League. Originally, Pakistan included East and Western Bangladesh, but they will break off. Bangladesh will break off and become its own country in 1972. Pakistan was a centralized state. It was influenced by the military, and it's often unable to control the tribes in the mountains. It increasingly became under the influence of Islamic fundamentalists, and even though it was a U.S. ally, there will still be a big terrorist sector in Pakistan. For example, Pakistan is where Osama bin Laden was hiding when he was killed by the U.S. Army. All right, so let's talk about India after World War II. Indians also began to develop a strong industrial base with strong infrastructure. They're going to possess a larger middle class than other Asian nations and or African post-colonial nations. As mentioned before, Nehru was the first president. He will welcome foreign investment and capitalism, in both industrial and agricultural productivity will expand. The Green Revolution is going to happen to a large extent in India. India will also have a large tech sector. They'll have their own version of Silicon Valley. And this is where a lot of technology, computer projects, products, and other things are created and manufactured in India. Indira Gandhi was the first woman to lead India. She was a prime minister from 1966 to 1977, and again from 1980 to 1984. She will oversee the Green Revolution. She will have an aggressive foreign policy with wars with Pakistan. She will get atomic nuclear weapons for India. She'll be assassinated by her own bodyguards in 1984. She was the daughter of Nehru. Some of the realities in India was a very successful post-colonial nation. They have a middle class, unlike some of the other nations that gain independence. India will maintain its democracy, but there will still be some problems in India. Nehru's family, through Indira Gandhi and grandsons, have dominated Indian policies. Even though there are democracy, their family are usually the ones elected president. India has also suffered from a massive population growth and limited resources, and there's also a huge disconnect between the poor and the rich. Also, Hindu fundamentalism has become a larger deal in India recently, where they begin more persecutions against the Sikhs and Muslims that still live in India. As far as pop culture goes, there is a massive entertainment industry in India called Bollywood. It's Hindi cinema. It's the world's largest film industry. It has also led to an increase in nationalism and Hindi themes. It is it has led to a changing of cultural stereotypes outside of India and is their biggest film producer. So let's talk about India, right? Nasir is going to take power after a military coup in 1952. And by 1954, he's going to eliminate all other political parties. I want you guys to remember that after World War II, Egypt officially got independence. Britain just kind of got rid of Egypt. They kind of let them go their own way after World War I. Nasir is going to redistribute the land to the peasants. He's going to offer free education. He'll subsidize food prices and try to create jobs. He will limit foreign investment. He'll nationalize some foreign properties. In 1956, he's going to force the British to leave the Suez Canal, which will upset the British because they helped build it. Because of this, the British are going to try to attack Egypt, the canal zone, with the French and Israelis. But the only reason the British pull out is America actually joins forces with Russia, France, and the Israelis to condemn the British for this particular aggressive foreign policy. For Nasir is going to have an aggressive foreign policy, which will drain money from the country. This will raise suspicions that he's allied with Russia, and he is going to move his entire foreign policy as he wants to destroy Israel. He thinks Israel is an illegitimate nation. He thinks the Jews have stolen land from the Palestinians. He wants to unite the Arab countries to try to destroy Israel. This idea to try to unite Arab countries is called Pan-Arabism. It will not be successful, but his idea to destroy Israel, he will actually go to war against Israel, and Egypt will lose. After Nasir on war Sadat, he's going to slowly dismantle most of the government schemes. He's going to get rid of some of the socialist aspects in Egypt. He's going to seek a more profitable relationship with the West. And he will end the war with Israel, and Sadat will actually make peace with Israel in the Camp David's Accords. And he will be assassinated because of that, and he'll be assassinated due to Islamist extremist groups. So let's talk about Southwest Asia, the Middle East since 1945. The Arab states are going to gain independence during and after World War II. In 1947, Israel will be created, and they're finally going to honor the Balfour Declaration. The British will withdraw, and a civil war will break out. The Jews will proclaim the state of Israel, and this will upset a lot of Arabs in the country because they feel like their land was just stolen from them. The people that live in Palestine were Arabs. The Jews had historical ties to the land from the Bible, but from an Arab perspective, they felt like their land was being taken from them. Egypt, Jordan, Syria, and Iraq will declare war in 1947. This is called the 1947-1949 Palestinian War. Even though basically all of the Middle East declares war against Israel, Israel will achieve victory. America and some of the Western nations will help supply and support Israel weapons. Israel will then take more land than they originally granted. This will increase Pan-Arabism and hatred for Israel. In 1947, Israel will be partitioned. The Arabs will invade. 1956, Israel will invade the Sinai region, which was not originally given to them by the United Nations. 1967, there will be the 6-Day War. Egypt was planning to attack and invade Israel. Israel realized that Israel was going to invade, so Israel is going to launch a preemptive attack where the Air Force will annihilate the Arab armies and their own Air Force. Israel basically defeats all of the Arab armies in 6 days. Around this time, a new organization will be formed known as the Palestinian Liberation Organization, or the PLO. One of these reasons this happened is that there were 100,000 Palestinians that were displaced from 1947 to 1967, with their land taken away. The PLO's goal was to destroy Israel and create an Arab state in Palestine. They are considered a terrorist organization. They will use terrorism, bombings, killings of civilians to justify their ends. 1973, there's another war. Egypt was going to invade Israel during the Yom Kippur War. At this time, Israel was almost destroyed. The only reason Israel survives is America begins to ship them weapons. And they will nearly destroy the Egyptian army. And America kind of stops the Israelites after they start gaining the advantage. By this point, the Arabs are furious with America for always getting involved in supporting Israel. So an organization of Arab countries known as OPEC, these are oil-producing countries, and they're going to form an oil embargo on America where they won't sell oil to America. This is going to cause huge inflation in America. This is called, in the 1970s, it's called the period of stagflation. As a result of this, America is going to have gas lines. People are going to have to wait in line to get gas, as there won't be gas for some days. You might only be able to get gas on some days of the week. Gas prices will go up as much as 30%. Also, as a result of this, there will be increased tension between America and Arab countries. In 1979, America under Jimmy Carter will broker the Camp David Accords, which will end hostilities between Egypt and Israel. They will sign peace agreements between them. Egypt was the first country to recognize Israel as a country. Later on, Jordan, Lebanon, and Morocco will agree in principle to the Camp David Accords. Throughout the 1990s, there will still be issues that are left unresolved with Israel, the security status, the status of Golden Heights. In Jerusalem, Israel has built the wall on the West Bank, which has separated the Palestinians and Israelites, which make the Israelites furious. It also kind of violates international law. They do this, they say, to prevent terrorism. It's a whole thing. As the Palestinians do a terrorist attack against Israel, and then the Israelites launch missiles and things back into the West Bank and parts that are considered Palestinians, and it inevitably kills civilians on both sides. There really hasn't been any significant changes. Even up to today, they still are plenty of things unresolved. There's still conflict. All right, y'all, that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, please ask. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in class. All right, bye.